Welcome back, and for anybody that's new, consider subscribing. So in today's video I'm going to show you how I turn this dehumidifier into a vacuum pump with a vacuum chamber. Now obviously this dehumidifier is broke because it's not doing its job, as you can see by the moisture all around it, but either way, let's get to it. So the first thing I need to do is take this apart. I quickly realize that somebody fixed this in a little bit of a shoddy way, but at least I know there's no Freon in it. So in a lot of things you repurpose, you'll find useful stuff. So I'm going to keep that fan motor. Now here I'm going to get rid of all the switches and stuff that turned on based on humidity, and I'm just going to hook it up where it turns on as soon as I plug it in. And then of course we don't need the two radiators anymore. And out of curiosity, I had to give it a little test to see if it could crush something right away. Alright, so I plugged in and I tested the pump as well as the fan motor, and they both work. I'm going to keep the fan for a different project. So what I got going on here is I'm going to use these because my sister gave them to me. Thank you, Tisha, if you're watching. And I'm going to use this as a surface to attach my vacuum chambers. Now basically the concept's going to be, so I'm going to have this a little off-centered, and I'm going to put my valve right here. That's going to eliminate any chances of leak, or at least there'll be like one. I'm also going to make sure it's off-centered, and the reason why is because I want to use a variety size of containers for this. And the reason being is, one, I'm going to take and put a straw here, so that way if I have resin, it's not going to get inside of it. But the other is I can have different size of containers on here, and that's going to make the pump work less. I'm going to use the smallest container needed to achieve the goal. So that's what we'll be doing next. So right here I'm using a couple pieces of wood as a guide, so that way I can apply a thick layer of silicone. It's about 3 millimeters thick. Alright, so basically what I've got going on here is I've tapped a line in between here so I can let the air out. I got one here so I can shut off the chamber itself. I got my gauge right here. Now the nice part about this is I can put any size of a chamber on here I want. I'm not limited to one that I custom fit to a certain size dish, so I can do a couple different ones. Alright, so now I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to test it out with a couple things. One of them I'm going to do is water, and the other one I'm going to take and do is epoxy. I wanted this so that way I could get the bubbles out of epoxy, so there's only way to test it. I'm going to mix these up, introduce a lot of air bubbles, and hopefully I'll be able to tell if it can pull them out. As you can see, it's not going to quite get it to a rolling boil or anything. In fact, the bubbles that are coming out of it is just the oxygen that's suspended in the water. It's basically what like fish breathe. And
Nope.
That turned out amazingly more clear than this did. I wish I would have had it for when I took and did this salsify. Well, there you have it. And obviously it didn't get quite as low of a vacuum as a professional vacuum pump, but it certainly is going to do the job for what I'm going to need it for, and anybody that's a hobbyist. So I hope it helps, and you know, you could probably improve it by using a more modern pump out of a newer machine. Anyways, have a good one. Till next time. Thanks for stopping by.